Welcome to St. John's 2-year Bible reading program. Father Dominic invites you to explore the entire Bible through daily readings from both the Old and New Testaments. Each session concludes with a reflective question and with a reflective reply provided at the beginning of the next day's reading. Enjoy the journey, and may God bless you. What does defeating Nicanor teach us about faith, perseverance, and trusting God's power in tough times? The first book of Maccabees, chapter 7, teaches us that faith, perseverance, and trusting God's power are essential during difficult times. Israelites' victory emphasizes that relying on divine strength, rather than just on human effort, leads to success against strong enemies. Their unwavering faith and perseverance, even in the face of danger, remind us to remain steadfast and trust in God's deliverance. This victory encourages us to keep praying, stay committed to our values, and believe that God's power can overcome any obstacle. It demonstrates that faith and perseverance help us to overcome adversity and remain resilient in the face of challenging circumstances. In what ways can Jesus' declaration as the light of the world inspire us in our daily life? According to the Gospel of St. John, chapter 8, verses 12 through 20, Jesus calls himself the light of the world. He offers guidance, hope, truth, and a love that's greater than anything we can imagine. This motivates us to seek clarity and direction in our daily lives, knowing we are loved and cared for. By following his teachings, we are encouraged to live with integrity, love, and purpose, shining a light for ourselves and others. His light symbolizes the power to overcome darkness and ignorance, prompting us to make positive choices and spread love. This message reminds us to stay hopeful and resilient during difficult times, trusting that his presence can lead us through challenges. Embracing this light inspires us to be beacons of positivity and compassion, sharing his love with everyone around us. Day 273. A reading from the first book of Maccabees, chapter 8. Judas had heard of the reputation of the Romans. They were valiant fighters and acted amiably to all who took their side. They established a friendly alliance with all who applied to them. He was also told of their battles and the brave deeds that they performed against the Gauls, conquering them and forcing them to pay tribute, and what they did in Spain to get possession of silver and the gold mines there. By planning and persistence, they subjugated the whole region, although it was very remote from their own. They also subjugated the kings who had come against them from the far corners of the earth, until they crushed them and inflicted on them severe defeat. The rest paid tribute to them every year. Philip and Perseus, king of the Macedonians, and the others who opposed them in battle, they overwhelmed and subjugated. Antiochus the Great, king of Asia, who fought against them with 120 elephants, and with cavalry and chariots and a very great army, was defeated by them. They took him alive and obliged him and the kings who succeeded him to pay a heavy tribute, to give hostages, and to cede Lycia, Mysia, and Lydia from among their best provinces. The Romans took these from him and gave them to the king Eumenes. When the Greeks planned to come and destroy them, the Romans discovered it and sent against the Greeks a single general who made war on them. Many were wounded and fell, and the Romans took their wives and children captive. They plundered them, took possession of their land, tore down their strongholds, and reduced them to slavery, even to this day. All the other kingdoms in the islands that had ever opposed them, they destroyed and enslaved. With their friends, however, and those who relied on them, they maintained friendship. They subjugated kings both near and far, and all who heard of their fame were afraid of them. Those whom they wished to help and to make kings, they made kings, and those whom they wished, they deposed, and they were greatly exalted. Yet with all this, none of them put on a diadem or wore purple as a display of grandeur. But they made for themselves a senate chamber, and every day 320 men took counsel, deliberating on all that concerned the people and their well-being. They entrust their government to one man every year to rule over the entire land, and they all obey that one, and there is no envy or jealousy among them. So Judas chose Ptolemaeus, son of John, son of Achos, and Jason, son of Eleazar, and sent them to Rome to establish friendship and alliance with them. He did this to lift the yoke from Israel, for it was obvious that the kingdom of the Greeks was subjecting them to slavery. After making a very long journey to Rome, the envoys entered the Senate chamber and spoke as follows. Judas, called Maccabeus, and his brothers, with the Jewish people, have sent us to establish alliance and peace with you, and to be enrolled among your allies and friends. The proposal pleased the Romans, and this is a copy of the reply they inscribed on bronze tablets and sent to Jerusalem, to remain there with the Jews as a record of peace and alliance. May it be well with the Romans and the Jewish nation at sea and on land forever. May sword and enemy be far from them. But if war is first made on Rome or any of its allies in any of their dominions, the Jewish nation will fight along with them wholeheartedly, as the occasion shall demand. And those who wage war, they shall not give or provide grain, weapons, money, or ships, as seems best to Rome. They shall fulfill their obligations without receiving any recompense. In the same way, if war is made first on the Jewish nation, the Romans will fight along with them willingly, as the occasion shall demand. And those who attack them, there shall not be given grain, weapons, money, or ships, as seemed best to Rome. They shall fulfill their obligations without deception. On these terms, the Romans gave an agreement with the Jewish people. But if both parties hereafter agree to add or take away anything, they shall do as they choose, and whatever they shall add or take away shall be valid. Moreover, concerning the wrongs that King Demetrius is doing to them, we have written to him thus, Why have you made your yoke heavy upon our friends and allies, the Jews? If they petition against you again, we will enforce justice and make war on you by sea and land. How does trusting God's guidance and wisdom influence our decision in forming agreements like the treaty with the Romans? Day 273, a reading from the Holy Gospel of St. John, chapter 8, verses 21 through 30. He said to them again, I am going away, and you will look for me, but you will die in your sin. Where I am going, you cannot come. So the Jews said, He is not going to kill himself, is he? Because he said, Where I am going, you cannot come. He said to them, You belong to what is below. I belong to what is above. You belong to this world, but I do not belong to this world. That is why I told you that you will die in your sins. For if you do not believe that I am, you will die in your sins. So they said to him, "Who are you?" Jesus said to them, "What I told you from the beginning. I have much to say about you in condemnation. But the one who sent me is true, and what I heard from him I tell the world." They did not realize what he was speaking to them of the Father. So Jesus said to them, "When you lift up the Son of Man, then you will realize that I am, and that I do nothing on my own, but I say only what the Father taught me. The one who sent me is with me. He has not left me alone, because I always do what is pleasing to him. Because he spoke this way, many came to believe in him." What does it mean to truly believe in Jesus as I am, and how can this belief transform our daily choices?